huge congratulations, and I guess the big question now is, how do you see this blockbuster listing really taking the brand discovery even further and helping proliferation for Nykaa?
I think I've always said that Nykaa enjoys much consumer love. We've had more than close to 40 million visitors visit all our platforms over, if you look at the last month's data, and more than 10 million customers have been the buyers on Nykaa apps and websites. So I think the similar journey has now begun on the investor side with retail participation at 10x. We had more than 2-3 million retailers who had shown interest to participate in the Nykaa journey besides the institutional investor. And while we have not been able to fulfill all the investor needs, and maybe only 1 in 10 investors has got the allocation, but that also has given us almost 4 lakh investors have come into the Nykaa family.
Yeah.
And I hope this journey of investor love continues just the similar way as what we've faced with the consumer love. And the advantage we have is that our investors, our consumers, and everybody around us is all in one. Our investors are also our consumers, and our consumers are also our investors. So that's a fantastic place to be in.
Absolutely. Adwaita, why don't you come in as well, being part of this journey? And you've always been so passionate about what you're building at Nykaa, and also, of course, the fact that fashion vertical has also grown leaps and bounds and has become one of the mainstays. What's the kind of vision you have? How much bigger do you feel this will be in terms of Nykaa's growth trajectory going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I think, we've really enjoyed every single minute of this journey. We were reminiscing earlier today during the ceremony that when we think back really 8 to 9 years ago, when we were struggling to even get 20 orders a day, to implement an ERP, one could not have imagined the moments that we'd be facing today, which is a historic IPO. So one can't help but reminisce on both the highs and lows that we've experienced over the last 9 years. I think for us, this is just a stop along the way. There's a lot more to do. There's a lot to look ahead. For me personally, focusing on the fashion business is incredibly exciting. I think it's a bold bet we took about 2.5 years ago. It's already showing incredible momentum, but I'm very convinced that this is going to be a very, very sizable business in a very large market. And we can see that, in the next couple of years, the bold bet to enter fashion, though it was a competitive space, will really pay off. So overall, feeling extremely bullish on fashion, and I think moving from being just a pure beauty retailer to being beauty plus fashion was the right move we took a couple years ago.
Falguni, now part of the proceeds, 630 odd crores, will be utilized for the retail store capex as well. How many store additions are you looking at? What's the plan for the remaining fiscal? Are there any targets on the outset?
Yes, I think it's difficult to make too many forward-looking statements at the moment, but I think we do have a big plans to continue our store rollout. I think it was held up last year due to COVID realities, and I think we are pushing the pedal on store rollout, and we are already in more than 40 cities with more than 80 stores, and I think the same momentum on store addition will continue. I think every couple of months you'll see that we're adding 3-4 stores, and I think on an annual basis I do believe that we'll add at least 40-50 stores.
All right. Nykaa is one of the few startup ventures in the online retailing space which has achieved strong growth and is profitable. What are some of the strategies that you plan to continue working on to maintain this kind of growth momentum, and in fact even ramp up profitably faster? In many previous conversations, for instance, Falguni, you've talked about that. You've talked about the possibility to actually improve the pace even further. Share with us anything you can when it comes to strategy now going forward.
I think the main thing is e-commerce. It's early days of e-commerce penetration in beauty and fashion is still low.
Okay.
Beauty at 8% and fashion at 12%, and with this early days I think the consumer adoption of e-commerce is growing, and Nykaa will also continue to acquire new customers, and short-term profitability is always a balance between new customer acquisition and returning customer behavior.
Right.
And I think Nykaa is very focused on our CRM strategies to make sure that our existing customers also keep coming back, and I think we will pursue balanced growth in terms of be patient to build our company for the long run strength, and try to maintain a pace of growth that is affordable and sustainable. Adwaita, do you want to come in here?
Yeah, I think honestly, this dynamic between growth and profitability is something that's deeply in the DNA of the company. I think all our leaders are constantly, weighing the dynamic, and we really do think that we can do both. We can strive for strong growth without compromising on profitability. All our business plans, models, projections, before we enter into new business even, are all built keeping that in mind, that we have to deliver very strong growth, which anyway, being part of a large market as beauty and fashion allows us to do,
Yeah.
but at the same time do it sensibly and do it in a profitable manner.